And we are live. All right. Good afternoon, Kyle T. Webster.
Good afternoon, Meredith. How are you?
Yeah, I'm well, thanks. I'm well. We've got the bank holiday weekend coming up, so everybody gets Monday off. So I think
Ooh,
everybody's feeling a bit chipper about that, to be honest.
I don't think we get that over here in Germany, darn it. Oh,
Oh
that's not
well,
fair.
there we are,
Hmm.
Kyle. There we are.
Well, that's not okay.
No, I'm sorry, but we are. So there we are.
Lucky you. Are you
Uh,
going to do anything fun?
well, the weather, I don't want to talk about the weather, but the weather is really bad at the moment. It's
Oh,
just
sorry.
awful. So, play cards. I don't know.
Is it raining or something?
Yeah. We got a lot of rain going on at the moment. Yeah, it's
Oh
really wet.
well.
Yeah, but there we are.
Go to a
Anyway,
museum, I guess. That's a museum
yes,
day.
that's right. I tell you where it isn't raining, Kyle. In space.
Good
Which
transition.
which neatly segues us to this week's live lesson, which of course is it's Space Day. It's UK Space Day.
Right.
So we've got two fun activities for you. And before we have a look at those, you are going to need to open up our challenge page, which is scrolling along at the bottom of the screen. So you can get to that just by opening up another tab on your browser and go to bit.ly, so bit.ly/Adobe Space. Nice and easy. So open that up and we'll be having a look at that in a minute or two. But first of all, if you've never joined us on Adobe Digital Leaders before, we do have 3 golden rules. They're
Yes.
not really rules. They're not really rules. So rule number 1, Kyle, is what?
All right. So before we begin the rules, I'm seeing a comment from Christopher saying, "Can I have the alternative link as my colleague's computer is blocking YouTube?" Do we have another link for StreamYard?
Yes. Now then. That should have gone out on an email. So, Kyle, if you go through the
I will go through the rules
rules,
while you find that, and then we can
and
maybe
I'll
post it in
try
the
and
comments.
sort out the link. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So let's talk about the rules, folks. Rule number 1, you can pause us at any moment. So if you pause the video while you're watching, it's perfectly fine because the moment you unpause, we will be exactly where you left us. So even though this is live, the way it works with YouTube and these other services is if you pause, when you unpause, we'll be exactly where you left us. So if we're going too fast for you at any point and you need a moment to catch up, go ahead and pause. Rule number 2 is if you like free stuff for the classroom, for the students, and I'm sure you do, then there's something very simple you can do. Finish the challenges that we've done today. So if you finish a challenge, tell your teacher that you finished the challenge, show them what you've done, show them your work. Then your teacher can notify us that the work is done, and we can send to you a fantastic piece of free swag. So whatever that is, I can't tell you. It's a secret, but I know you're going to want it. And now we have step 3, rule 3. This is the extra special VIP swag. All right. Now this goes to students who not only complete today's challenge, but also go on to teach it to a friend or to maybe a pet. Doesn't matter. But teach it to somebody. Okay. Be an instructor. Be somebody who educates others. And if you do that, you are an Adobe leader. You will get extra special swag, and that will be sent to you. All right, so those are the 3 rules. Rule number 1, pause anytime you like. Rule number 2, complete the challenges. Let your teacher know you've completed them, and then we can go ahead and send some swag. And rule number 3, if you want the extra VIP swag, go one step further and teach it to somebody else.
Yeah, great. Thanks for that, Kyle. Yeah, so I've just posted a comment up to the Twitter feed where this is also streaming to. We do usually have a StreamYard feed, which is another option, but that doesn't seem to be up and running, and I can't connect that now because we've started the live stream. So I hope, Christopher, that the Twitter link works for you.
It should work fine. Yeah, the Twitter link should work.
Yeah, that's all I can do at the moment, I'm afraid. Right, okay, so let's jump over to the challenge page. There we go. There's your screen there, Kyle. And talk to us about today's challenges. Oh yeah,
All right.
if you're joining on iPad, by the way, guys, you can scan the QR code that's on screen right now, and that'll bring you to this challenge page. And also on the iPad, we don't have the drawing app yet. It's on the way soon, not sure when, but we don't have it quite yet. So we'll be dropping off the iPad. Folks will be dropping off after the first activity. Okay,
That's
sorry,
right.
Kyle, off you go.
Correct. Okay, so today, space exclamation point. Here we go. We have exclamation point there because it's fun and it's fun to say it louder. Here we have 2 challenges. Challenge number 1, we will design a poster together. And this is going to be a poster about how big the sun is relative to the planets in our solar system. And it's just a great way to visualize and picture the immense, enormous, incredible size of our sun, because it's sometimes hard to sort of understand the scale of all that. So this will be a fun challenge. We'll do a poster together. And then challenge number 2 is a drawing challenge. We're going to use the drawing editor in Adobe Express, and that's only for the browser, as Meredith said. And yes, there will be an iPad option coming down the road, but we're going to create a little space scene using custom brushes and colors and everything else, and that'll be a lot of fun. That's what we're doing today.
Cool. Right. Well, we've got a shout out from Trey Robert School. Shemai, hi, welcome. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for your comments. Make sure that you give us a shout out. Let us know where you're joining us from. So, Kyle, you're there. You're on Adobe Express. So kick us off with this super cool poster that you've come up with.
Alrighty then, let's get started. So, as usual, if you want to create a poster, you may, in the very first row of project options we have down here, find poster waiting for you here. Now, if you don't see it, no big deal. Just use the little purple plus in the top left corner, tap on that, and in the search bar, type P-O-S-T-E-R, and there you'll also find a poster. So I'll tap on that. This will bring up our blank canvas, and we're ready to get started. I'll do one thing, and then I'll pass it over to Meredith so that the iPad folks can get themselves to exactly the same little spot, all right? And what I'm going to do is use my elements right here. And you'll notice that the very first category I have up here is brushes, okay? And I'd like to use a brush stroke and put it down here at the bottom of my canvas. Now, if you don't see categories like on the iPad, you can always search for a brush stroke. So I'll do that as well. Brush stroke. And you get a whole bunch of nifty options like this. I don't want anything too crazy. I want it to have a pretty flat edge, all right? And I'll show you, for example, something like this might work, something like that might work. But let's see what we have up here at the top. I think something as simple as this or this will do the trick. There we go. Now I place it on the canvas, and then I just make it big enough to cover from one side of my canvas to the other, and I rotate it so that it's angling up slightly from left to right, like this. And we'll just pop that down there like that. Okay, and that is how I want to kick off my project.
All right, cool. Right then, let's jump over to the iPad then, and let's get to that point. So here we are. We're on the iPad home screen. You can see there that ribbon saying a new Adobe Express app is on the way. So it must be on the way if they're going to put that on this app. So we're going to start off with the poster.
Oh, I can't see your screen, Meredith.
Oh no, I think it is. I'm looking at the live stream. I think it's okay.
Oh, sorry. Maybe on my end, it's just a little slow to come up. I don't see anything yet.
Okay. I'm going to scroll over. There we go. I'm scroll over, and I'm going to tap on posters. Okay. And it is giving me this empty poster. It says double tap to edit text. I don't want text. So I'm going to tap on the text box, and I'm going to hit delete to get rid of that. All right. So I'm going to get a hold of that shape that Kyle just added. So I'm going to go into add and into design assets. And you just went for a kind of a paint kind of something there. So I'm just going to put paint.
I put so the search criteria I used was brush stroke.
Oh yeah, brush stroke. Yeah.
Quite a few good options. Hey folks, let us know in the chat, by the way. Let us know with a comment if you are seeing Meredith's screen.
Yes, you can't see it. Can you, guys?
I can't see it on my end. I want to make sure that I'm the only one.
Yeah, okay. So can you see our little windows, your face and my face?
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that is strange. I'm seeing it on this second screen that I've got, so I'm going to
Good.
hope that
As
it's.
long as you're seeing it, we're in good shape.
Yeah, I hope it's on your end. Okay, right. Otherwise, I have no ideas. There we are. So I just searched for stroke there. Okay, and I've got some really cool options here. So I'm gonna grab one of these. This guy. Tap on it, gives you a blue tick. And once you've chosen that, I'm going to tap on add one. And that's popped it on the page for me there. And as Kyle did, I'm just going to resize it so it's nice and big. And then I'm going to rotate so that we've got this kind of incline going on. Right, okay. I'm going to jump back over to your screen, Kyle. There you are, and take us on to the next step.
Excellent. You made a very good choice with the brushstroke that you had there.
Oh, thank you.
Now, we're going to take the brush. What's that?
Could you see it in the end?
I just thought it popped up there in the last 5 seconds.
Okay.
So,
right, okay.
All right. So here we have our little brushstroke. Now, the next thing I'll do is change the color. That's very easy to do. I'll go to Effects right here. Voila. And I'm going to use duotone. And one of the secrets about using duotone is you actually don't have to use 2 separate colors. You can use 2 of the same color to colorize something. So my shadow color right here, I'm just going to tap on it and then tap on custom and slide that over here to a nice bright sort of a yellowy color. Okay. Then I'm going to go to my highlights right here. And look, I'll just slide that over to the same area. Okay. And by doing that, I'm able to basically colorize very brightly what was formerly a black shape. Okay. So that's a little secret you can do with the duotone is assign basically the same color to both the shadow and the highlight. Now, the next thing I'll do is just add a little bar of color over here on the left. And I'll do that with a rectangle, which again is found in Elements and under Shapes right here. So under Shapes, all I want is a simple rectangle right there. And I'm going to take the rectangle, slide it over to the left, and I'm just stretching it the entire height and then making it quite narrow. You'll see this is really, really quite narrow over here, like that, on the left side. And this I can change the color of simply by tapping on the fill right here. So I'm going to make it a bit of a sort of orangey red, similar to like what a basketball color might be, but maybe a little bit redder than that. Voila. All right. Last step, I'm going to slide that layer here behind the other layer. And now I've set up my design pretty nicely. All right, Meredith.
Cool. Okay. Right. So here it is. I'm back on the iPad. So the first thing that Kyle did was put the duotone filter on the shape. So on the iPad, that's under looks. So I've got my shape there selected, my design asset selected. So I'm going to go to looks and then duotone. And then it's put that blue color on it, but I'm going to tap on duotone again on the settings button. And here we go. I can make some choices here now. So Kyle went for this kind of nice yellowy orange. So I'm going to start off with this one here. And I can switch them around. And I mean, that's not a million miles off what I'd like.
That's pretty good.
I'm going to go in there, click on the settings again. So here now you can change. You've got these colors to choose from. Or obviously I can click on custom, choose a custom color. I think I'm going to go with that. Now, because mine was just a plain black and no other color, I don't actually need to double up the highlights and the shadows because there's none of that purple showing up. But if you do need to, you can just tap on highlights and you see on the left-hand side then, it actually shows you the color that you've already got selected, that orange, and I can just tap on it and it's applied that to both. So that's done. Done again to get rid of that. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm tapping done. It's right at the bottom of the screen. Let me just get the banner off because the banner.
Oh yeah, there's that done button is always way down at the bottom.
The done button right down there on the bottom. Okay, so let's get a rectangle in. So I'm going to go to Add, and I'm going to Shapes. And right at the top, I'm going to just tap on that black square in the middle of my screen and add one at the top. There it is. So I'm going to change the color. So let's go into color. Now, Kyle chose a really kind of nice, kind of orangey red here. So let's just scroll over, see if there's something that grabs me. That's not bad, but it is kind of a full red. So I'll use that as a starting point. Then I'll go to custom, and then I can kind of just bring this a little bit more over towards orange. There we go. Hit done. Done again. And then, oh, sorry. And then I need to resize. So let's just, I like pinching out when I'm doing this kind of thing. So I can
Good
see
idea.
my whole canvas. Just do that and that. There we go. Sorted. Did you pop it behind or did you not yet?
I did. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So to pop that behind, that's all you need to do is tap on it. And the second option on the bottom there is order. And I'm going to drag to the left. And that has popped that rectangular kind of strap behind that cool brushstroke shape. Okay. We are back with you, Kyle. Go for it.
Excellent. Okay. Next, I'm going to do my title down here. And so to do that, I'll have two elements. I'll have a question with text, how big is the sun? And I'll also have a person asking that. So let's start with media and search our photos. And I'll just put kid asking question, see what we come up with. Now, this is absolutely perfect. So I will select it and place it on my canvas. Look, the yellow is even very similar to what I've got there. How convenient. I'm going to take this kid and I'm going to remove the background from this photograph by tapping on the doggy right here. So Express will think about that for just a moment. And look at that. Incredible. Let's pop our kid right down there. And the question we are asking is, how big is the sun? Okay, so I'm just going to place our main character about here. And then I'll go to my text and add text right there. Question is, how big is the new line sun? Question mark. Now you notice I typed that in all capital letters. How big is the sun? Now the moment I'm done typing, I'm going to tap on dynamic right here. And look what it does. Isn't that perfect? It immediately gets me all set up with a nice break, and everything is justified, which means the lettering is all going to come to exactly the same width. The next thing I'll do is tap on this text spacing option here and reduce the line spacing just a little bit so it feels a little tighter. Alrighty. You can, if you want, also adjust your letter spacing here, so that your letters are either further apart or closer together, etc. And if you want, you can play with different text. There are a whole bunch of options here under recommended that Express will throw at you. This one might be kind of fun, right? You could try this one. They're all kind of nice. I'm looking for something that's fairly condensed, which means it's a little bit, the letters are a little taller than they are wide. So I think this might work just fine. And the next thing I'll do, and then I'll pass it back to you, is we've got our text, we've got our character, but I think it'd be cool if we took the text and rotated it slightly so it is sort of at an angle like the rest of our little base graphic there. I think that just makes it a little more fun, a little more dynamic. Okay. And you can simply tap on the color, use your eyedropper, and select the color that you've already got back here. Make it a little darker, maybe a little brighter, but try and keep it about the same. And I think that's just a nice way to tie it all together. So there's our question. How big is the sun? There's our character asking the question, and we're in good shape.
Cool. Right, let's do that on the iPad. So next we're going to tap add. We're going to go to Adobe Stock. Now there is something I've noticed with Adobe Stock recently on the iPad app, is that it doesn't tend to enjoy searching for when you type loads of different words into the search photos. So if you're not getting results, the top tip at the moment is to maybe just search for one word. So I'm just going to search for question.
Okay.
and see what I get. There we go. We've got loads of stuff. This is fun.
There's the character right down there.
Yeah, there's
In the
yours
middle.
there. Yeah, that's yours
Perfect.
there. Yeah,
Look at
cool.
that.
I'm gonna go for somebody else. I'm gonna use this girl wearing a beret there. It's a very
Oh, I like that too. That's and there's a yellow sweater.
yeah, it's a snazzy hat. So we can choose that, and we're gonna go add one. What do I want to do with this? I want to move it freely. So I tap on move freely. Let's get rid of the background. So let's go to the edit menu and remove background. Yeah, you're right. So the yellow of her shirt is a good match. Tones quite nicely.
Very
Green
cool.
the green's a bit odd, but we won't worry about that. Right. So there we are. She's in there. That's fine. And she's kind of looking in the right direction as well, which is a help.
Yes.
If she wasn't, I could just do a flip. That would be easy enough. Okay, so you could flip. Oh, that's weird. My shape just turned into black.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. Oh, my app just crashed. Okay.
Oh dear. That happens sometimes. It happens.
A new app is on the way, Kyle. Well, get on with it, guys, because this goes crashing. Right, let's get the.
It happens.
Let's get that up. Now then, let's. There it is. Okay.
There it is.
Thankfully, Express saves everything. So, as demonstrated there. Right, let's get the text in. So, done with that. Add and text. And we are going to go, how big is the next line, please? Sun and question mark. Done. Great. And then I want that same dynamic text layout that Kyle used. So to get that on the iPad, right over on the right-hand side, you can go to Align. And in the middle, you'll see Magic. Okay, so if you tap on Magic, it'll give you that same layout. I mean, you could try one of the Rotate and Fit. These are quite fun. You could try one of these guys, but I don't know. I think the word sun needs to really be the most important.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, so that's good. Yeah, but no, I think it's I think I'm going to go with the same one as Kyle. Magic. There it is. Sorted. Right. So color, I want that same kind of orangey red that I've got on the side there. So let's just go to text and custom, and I'm going to drag the eyedropper. I'm going to. I think I've crashed again.
Oh dear. Oh, there it is.
Is it?
I think it's okay. I don't know. It's just a little sluggish.
Yeah, it's not under my control at the moment. Just tap done a few times. Anyway, that's all I would do is change the color of the text and then resize it, get it down there, and maybe rotate it a little bit and choose different font. Okay, but I mean, choosing a font, yeah, I think I'm frozen up here.
No worries. People can.
And
I know that everybody watching is super smart. They know how to choose fonts. They know how to change the color of the text. They're good to go.
Absolutely. Right. We're back with you, Kyle. Go for it.
All right. So since we're talking about how big the sun is, we wanted to use a fun little comparison chart using common things that you could find, foods and whatnot, but also the size of a basketball being the size of our sun, and then how big are the planets relative to that. So I'm going to find a photograph of a basketball. Let's go to media, and under photos, well, you know what to search for, basketball. And look at that. Lots of basketballs. But what I really want is a basketball that is all by itself. Okay, now something like that, ta-da, that's what I want. So I will place that on the canvas, tap on the doggy to remove the background, and hopefully what Express will do is also remove the shadow. And look, it did. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm pinching on my trackpad, zooming out, is make this really big. Look at this. Woo! And I'm just going to put it up here in the corner because we want it to occupy, let's see, let's do this. I'm going to get it just right. If you were to measure from the left side to the right side in quarters, okay, 4 parts. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. The basketball is going to occupy 3 of those quarters, okay? 1, 2, 3. So that's how big I'm putting it in on my layout there, pretty much. Alrighty. Doesn't have to be exactly that, but this is a good way to start. And then look at how much space I have here. All right, I have at least a whole third in the middle here of white space to play with. And if you need a little more, you can always take your character, your title, and everything else. You can slide those down a hair, make them a little smaller, but you should be in good shape. So we can also make the basketball a little smaller if we need to later. But we just want to make sure there's enough basketball in the picture so we get that it's really, really big. Okay, there we go. So I got my basketball and I placed it right there. And I'm going to take my text here and duplicate it. Now, to duplicate something in Express, you just tap on this little button. It's got 2 squares and a plus. So tap on that. There it is. I got a copy of it, just like that. And I'll just straighten that out.
We've got a hello from Oakland's Primary School, Dosbarth Helig. Shemai, guys.
Oh, hello. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
And I'm going to write, if the sun were a basketball, ... And look, if I just stretch this, see that? If I stretch it, it'll change the break there. And this is the text I want right here. If the sun were a basketball, and I'm going to put that right here. And that's kind of our lead in to our poster, all right? Giving us an idea of what we're about to talk about here. If the sun were a basketball, ... And that's where I'll leave it for you, Meredith.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Righty-ho. So let's get the iPad back on. There we are. Right, okay. Got my text. So let's get a basketball. Add Adobe stock. And I'm going to search for basketball. There we go. Basket. Ball. Search. So like I said, we want to see the whole basketball. So there's loads of options there. Bunch of these could work well. I like the kind of texture on this one, so I'm going to grab that one. And then I go add one. Move freely. Let's remove the background. So tap, and under the edit menu, there's remove background. Okie dokie. And again, this is one of these moments where it's good to pinch out and zoom out on your canvas so you can see what you're doing. Just pop the basketball up in the top corner, and then it's kind of like Kyle had there. You want to keep that left-hand top quarter of the page empty. And something similar along the height of the page. So something like that. Could rotate as well. See if there's a better bit of the basketball to see. Yeah, like that maybe. Good. And now I need some text. So I'm going to duplicate this text. So I'm going to edit and I'm going to duplicate and I'm going to drag that up, straighten that out, double tap, and let's change it. If the sun was a basketball, dot, oh, hang on, ball, double L there, guys, dot, and it says of the sun as well, dear me. If the sun was a basketball, right, done. Right, and then, so again, we've got the late, you can mess around, kind of want the word basketball on its own on the bottom there. So I'm just going to pop this up, resize a little bit, and that line spacing is not working for me. So I'm going to go to spacing and bring the line spacing down. There we go. Done. Okay, cool. And back to you, Kyle. There you go.
Excelente. All right. If the sun were a basketball, how big would it be? Now let's talk about measurements. We're going to talk about it being a measurement in centimeters, and it's roughly 24 centimeters. So I'll use my text. Let's go to text, add text, and here I'll just type 24 cm. I don't want it in all caps, so I'm going to change the font. We'll look at all the options we have here. I'm looking for something that isn't all capital letters. Maybe I have my cap locks key on. I can also go through here and see what options we have. We don't want that. let's see what we've got here. I might just do, let's see, Sarabi Gothic Medium. What does that look like? Maybe this will give me a lowercase cm. Voila. I just think that looks better. And maybe we have some other options here. Now I can go to view all. Something a bit more interesting. That's quite nice. Here we go. All right, I like it. There's my measurement, 24 centimeters. And I'll plop that right here on top of my basketball, but then you can see it's difficult to read. So what I'll do is put it behind a shape. Let's go over here and look at our options for our text. Down here at the bottom, in this panel, you see shape. The very first shape it pulls up is pretty much what I'm looking for. It's just a little background to give it some color. I can increase the shape size right here, give it a bit more breathing room. And if I don't like using the yellow, I'll use white as a background. We'll just go to, shape fill, and we'll use white. Ta-da. All right, so now we have something to start with. We have our basketball, and I'll just plop that right about there so we understand that we're showing the measurement of the basketball. And what I'm going to do then is show 5 different objects that we'll find some photos for that will represent Mercury, Mars, Earth, Venus, Uranus, and Neptune, Saturn, and Jupiter. And then we're pretty much done there, Meredith.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you go ahead, I think, Kyle. Because
all right. Very next step. I'll do one
Yeah.
set of information, and then we'll be just duplicating that as we go through. It'll be very simple. So let's start with Mercury and Mars, okay? Because of the massive scale of things and how we're shrinking things down, even though they are different sizes, they're pretty similar to one another, okay? And the size for them is about 0.8 millimeters when compared with the size of our 24 centimeter basketball. So what I'll do is find some shapes that represent pin heads, the heads of a pin. So let's do that. We'll go simply to elements and just put a circle there. And that circle is going to represent the top of the pin head. People call me that all the time. Is that good?
Well, I was about to say that is the name of Marty McFly's band in Back to the Future.
So, really?
Yeah, his band's called the Pinheads.
I don't remember that fact.
Yeah.
That is great. I've seen that movie 25, 30 times, and I don't remember that. Good job.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm going to leave.
Right, now,
I think I've just peaked. You know.
McFly, make like a tree and get out of here. Yeah. All right, so here's the little tiny circle on my poster. Now you can make it a little smaller, actually. We're going to make that even smaller. Not so small that you can't see it, obviously, but we do want to represent that this is very small. We need 2 of these, okay? One for Mercury, one for Mars. So I have it selected, and remember, you can duplicate right there. And I'll just put these next to one another like that. So these will represent the pinheads, all right? Now, let's just jump over here for a minute. I'm going to grab this text and duplicate it as well. Bring it down here and just make it smaller. And we're going to use this to write our planet names and what they represent. So I'll write Mercury and Mars. And then underneath that, pinheads. And underneath that, 0.8 millimeters. There you go. Now this is fun. You can take the Mercury and Mars, and for the color, choose another color. You could choose something from within your design. I think the red color we're using is quite nice, so I'll just select that. There we go. And make that a bit smaller. And now we have our first little set here. Now, these 2 circles, I'm going to group them together. You can do that here, group. It makes it easier for me to move them. I want to center them with my text like that. So now everything is together. And that is us off to the races there.
Okay. I'm going to do that, but what are you going to do in the meantime, Kyle, whilst I'm catching up with you?
Well, what I'm going to be doing is this section right here with the text.
Yeah.
I'm going to be duplicating that 4 times.
Okay.
So if I duplicate it, I'm going to move one towards pretty much the center of my poster here, or maybe a little further over, and then another one. And I'm doing this because I can move these equidistant. I want to have space for the other objects that I'm going to be searching for. Now,
Okay.
I can wait to show you what I'm going to search for, or I can tell you now.
Maybe tell us now, and then
Okay.
people can start looking whilst I'm on the iPad.
All right. So here is what I'm going to be looking for. I'm going to be looking for salt crystals, peanuts,
Yeah.
a walnut, and an acorn. Salt crystals, peanuts, a walnut, and an acorn.
And if people can't remember that, it's on the challenge page, isn't it? So you could have a quick look at the challenge page.
I think you'll be able to see all of them. Let's see. Oh, yes, look at that. You can see every one of them.
Okay,
Boom.
so there we are. So that's what on the browser now you need to be building up really those images like Kyle's got there.
Just
And
ignore the
move back
measurements because they're in inches. I did it in inches, forgetting that we.
Oh yeah. So you're going to give us the metric measurements in a little while, Kyle. You?
Yes, correct.
Cool. Right. I'll take over then whilst you start sorting out your text boxes and getting those images in. Okay. Right, here we are. We're on the iPad. So I need that 24 centimeters for the ball. So let's just go to add text, and it's 24 cm. Oops, and then hit done. There we are. That's in. That's great. So next, what I want to do is I want to bring that down in size. Now, I'd like a shape behind that. Now, I don't like this shouty font either, so let's change the font to something. It's a bit shouty, isn't it? Yeah. I think we've still got the magic alignment on. That's why it's making everything caps. Yeah, there we are. Okay, cool. So there we are. I've got that. Let's change that font color to a nice dark gray. So let's tap on there. Let's go for a nice dark gray. And then I want to add a shape behind that. So to add a shape, I'm going to go to Effects, Shape. There we go. Let's bring it up on top of the basketball. And I'll just make this big for now. I want to change the color of that shape to be white. So let's tap on the settings under shape. And where it says right on the left-hand side there, I can tap on that color and choose white. Great, good. So I'm happy with that for the size of for the text on my basketball. Just bring the size down. So now let's duplicate that. So let's go to Edit, Duplicate, bring this down, tap, tap. So what have we got first? We've got Mercury and Mars. Okay, and then let's put a colon in there. Next line, pinheads. Next line, 0.8 millimeters. Okay, and then I hit done. There we are. I've got my text there. I'd like this to be centered, so I'm going to go to Align, and I'm going to center this text. I'm going to bring that size right down because we're going to have 5 of these all together. Now, I would like, actually, let's just make this big for a second because Kyle's got a different font for the planet names. So let's do that. Let's go to Edit and go to Secondary Style. There we go. And in here, I can choose Mercury and then tap on the tap on Mars. Brilliant. And then I can go into color. Let's choose that orange that I've already used. And then I can even choose a different font if I want, like a heavier font. Something, yeah, there we are. That works fine for me. I'm going to go for done. And now let's just bring that font back down. Okay, remember we need space for about 5 of these with images above each one. Cool. So let's duplicate that. I'm going to go to Edit. And I'm going to duplicate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, one too many. I only needed 4 copies. So there we are. I'm going to put 1 down there, 1 near the hat. Now, these don't actually need these white shapes on them, guys. So if you feel that they're kind of bumping up against other stuff, then you could get rid of the shape.
Yes.
It's not causing me any massive issues here, so I'm not going to bother. So I've got one too many, so I'm going to tap on one that I don't need, delete it. So Kyle lined his text boxes up nice and neatly. I'm going for a bit more of a chaos rules kind of layout here.
That's fine.
So you could do that too. Okay, cool. So finally then, I'm just going to start adding some images. So let's go to add. So the second one was salt crystals. So let's go to Adobe Stock. And I'm going to look for salt. Nope. Let's look for crystal. Crystal. Let's try spelling it correctly. Crystal.
Oh, there you go. That works.
I'd like a crystal, a crusty looking crystal. These look a bit too much like gems. That'll do. That one will do. Bring this in. Okay. Because it's going to be tiny, remember?
Yeah.
So there's my crystal. Add that in. Move freely. Let's get rid of the background. Remove background. Now, if I make that small enough, it's going to look like salt. There we go. Okay, a grain of salt. Oops, didn't want to make her bigger. Right, let's zoom in on my canvas so I can see what's going on. Let's bring that salt crystal over, make it smaller again. Then you duplicate. So edit, duplicate, and bring it over like that. Cool, there we go. Again, you could line them up or you could have them kind of, in a bit of chaos as well. That's fine. And now I just need to change the text in here. So this is Earth and Venus, salt crystals, 1.5 millimeters. So let's just tap on Mercury, and I'm just going to change that for Earth. Tap on Mars, Venus. Tap on pinheads, salt crystals, and this is 1.5 millimeters. Tap 1.5 millimeters. Done. You see, it's kept all of the formatting, it's kept my fonts, kept the colors, everything is there. Okay. I'll do one more. So the pinheads, Kyle used circles for that. Maybe I'm just going to go and search in Adobe Stock again, and I'm going to search for something like, I can search for needle, maybe. Or safety pin. Yeah, I might go for pin. Or I might end up doing the same as Kyle did, which I should have done all along. Let's cancel that. Let's go to add shapes. Let's get a circle in. So more shapes. And there we go. There's a circle. Add that in. Let's make it gray. Pin color. Change color. It's going to medium gray. Done. Now then, let's make that tiny. And now you're going to need to zoom in on your canvas. Okay, so click away from everything and then use the gray edges off the canvas to pinch in. And again. There we go.
Ooh, nice and tiny.
Duplicate. Yeah, at this size, it's difficult to tell the app whether you want to be making something, whether you want to be resizing or moving. There we go. That's fine. All right, that's fine. Right then, let's zoom out. There we are. They look good. So I'll pass back to Kyle now then. I'm just going to carry on now. I'm going to go through. So for the next two, which is Uranus and Neptune, they are going to be the size of peanuts. So I'm going to search for peanuts and I'm going to add those in. Right, Kyle, we're back with you.
Okie dokie. So you can see here I've got the walnut, and I already put in the peanuts for Uranus and Neptune. And by the way, I just want you to see something really quickly here. Look, this was the image I grabbed.
Ah.
Okay, now you can crop images in Express. Da-da-da-da. This makes your life a lot easier. Whoops, let's make sure. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to do the same thing here with the walnut. Just pull it in, da-da-da-da, get rid of that other bit. Don't need it. Don't need it. Okay, and then tap on the doggy, remove that white background. That just makes things nice and neat. I get exactly what I need for my image, and we're in good shape. All right, there is our walnut. Okay, here are the measurements for you folks. Make sure you check these out. We've got 1.5 millimeters for the salt crystals, 8.2 millimeters for the peanuts, 1.7 for the walnut. And oh, I'm sorry. Oh, silly me. That's a centimeter, not a millimeter. My goodness. 1.7 centimeters, 2.3 centimeters for Jupiter, which is an acorn. So that's the last one I have to search for. Let's just go ahead and type ACORN. Acorn. Once again, you could just select this one and crop it. Let's see if I can find a single acorn all by itself. Come on, Express, help me out. You got to be there. Oh, I'm shocked. It's not there. Well, it's okay. You know what to do. Grab this. And we have multiple options for cropping. I'll probably just do this. And then tap on the doggy. That'll remove the background, crop a little further so I have it nice and neat. Resize it. And there it goes. There is Jupiter. And I'll make this a little smaller so that we have things looking about right size-wise. Let me zoom out for a second. You can see how things look. All right, looking a little cramped here? No worries. Just go ahead, select these objects using the Shift key, selecting them all at once, and just slide them down a little bit. Give them some breathing room. And there's your poster, folks. That's all there is to it. You are good to go. You've got If the Sun Were a Basketball. You've got these really cool ways of visualizing the scale of our planets when compared with this massive ball of fire, which is the sun. Goodness gracious. All right. One thing I didn't do, which I always get in trouble for, nobody called me out for it today, thank goodness, is I didn't name my project. So up here in the top left, I'm going to write sun poster and just save it. And that will rename it for me like that. And there we have our beautiful sun poster. And this is really informative. And you can share it with somebody and maybe teach them a little something so that they know how big the sun is. What do you want to do with it? I'm sure you want to share it with everybody. So if you want to share it, you can download right here a PNG, which is just an image format. It'll save the image for you wherever your images get saved. Once you've downloaded it, you can do whatever you like with it. You can send it via email. You can post it. You can just save it. Up to you. You can print it. Or you can share it right here. If you share it, you can actually create a link to your project right here where it says Publish to Web. If I tap on Publish to Web, it gives me a title, and I can select Publish Link. And now Express is going to think about it for a second and think, can I create a unique web page that just has this poster on it? And the answer is yes. So right here it says publishing your design, ... And I'll wait patiently for a few seconds, and then it'll give me a link that I can copy, paste into a browser, and then share that link with anybody else who I want to see this project. And if they want to download the image, they can do so, etc. All right, so Meredith, how you doing over there?
Yeah, cool. So here we are. We're on the iPad. I've got all my images in here. I haven't finished going through changing the text for all of them, but you know how to do that, guys. We just double tap, go in. So I'm really happy with this. This looks great. And you know what would be fun, Guile, is because these are things that, you know, you've probably got a basketball in the cupboard in school, in the storeroom in school, and, you know, you've got some salt crystals in the kitchen, and there's probably some acorns lying around on the ground. Maybe they've all gone by now. But it would, you know, it'd be really fun, Guile, is if you actually laid out these at the correct distance from each other as well. That would be really fun.
My goodness. You would need, you'd probably need a couple of kilometers to do that, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. So if the sun was a basketball and you put a basketball in the middle of your school hall, you know, that would be a really interesting it would be an interesting bit of maths for you to do as a class. Right? How far away from that basketball would the first planet, Mercury, be? So where would you put your tiny little pinhead? How far away? And yeah, maybe you'd end up with Neptune would have to be at the bottom end of the school field or something. I don't know.
That's a great
That'd be
idea.
really fun. Really fun.
Yeah, that's a
And if
really
you
cool
are doing
project.
anything like that, then we would love to see it. So if you're doing anything further with these activities, then it would be great for you to tag us in there. We've got our handles are here. Here we go. So make sure that you tag Adobe for Edu so that all of our bosses can see the fun stuff that you'll be doing. And Kyle is everywhere as Kyle T. Webster. And then I'm about the place as Meredith J or Meredith Jones as well, depending which app you're on. So yeah, if you're posting anything online, guys, then we would love for you to tag us in there, teachers, to see what you've been getting up to. Right, sharing on the iPad. Behind the top right-hand corner of the screen, you've got the Adobe Express logo there. Behind that logo, there's a little bucket with an arrow pointing up. You can see the one next to it with the arrow pointing down. So I'm going to tap on the one right in the top right-hand corner. And that is going to ask me, do I want to share? And I'm going to go, yes, please, share. And then back up at the top right-hand corner, I've got options. I can choose save image, which is going to save my poster down into my camera roll on the iPad. Or if I scroll over, the third option from the end there is copy link, which will do exactly what Kyle just said. It'll prepare a link, give you that link. You can share that with anyone, and your poster will be published on the internet. And anybody who clicks on the link can go there and see your fabulous design. Right. Okay. iPad, folks, you are done. Very exciting that this new iPad app is on the way, but we don't have it yet. So browser guys, we are going to carry on now to the second activity. iPad folks, this is where we leave you. Maybe you've got some text to finish changing on your poster, or you haven't got all the images in yet, or you want to add some more ideas to your poster, then feel free to carry on with that. But I'll be shutting my iPad off now. We're going to jump back to Kyle's screen, and I'm going to get over onto the browser because I want to join in with this next activity because it looks like a heap of fun. Right, Kyle, we are back with you.
Here we are. Okay. Now, because we've redesigned the homepage for Adobe Express, you'll find the drawing option is actually the very first one in the top left. It's just this giant white rectangle. Tap on that, and it will open up your drawing editor. And this will give you your brushes and your colors that you can play with. Voila. So here we are in the drawing editor. Now, we're going to create a little space scene. And it's going to be really easy to do it. As we're starting out, you're going to think, well, wait, is this really going to look like outer space? But then you'll see how it kind of develops into what looks like a spacescape. Okay. And the really nice thing about this particular drawing exercise is you pretty much only have to use the colors that are available right here, just these 10 basic colors plus black. And that really is going to make things simple. We won't even have to open our custom color picker right here. You'll notice that you have all the colors just like you would in Express, but it's really not necessary to use those for this exercise. So here's what we're going to do. The first brush that you are presented with when you use the drawing editor is the hard round brush, which is the first brush we actually want to use for this. And I'm going to take our size slider. This makes your brush bigger or smaller. And I'm just going to make it really, really big. So somewhere around 800 or even all the way to the max if you want. It doesn't matter. Because with this hard round brush selected and with the color black selected right here, so make sure you tap on that in case it's not already selected. I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to fill the entire canvas with black. That's all there is to it. So that is step one.
Cool. All right. Let's go. Let's do that. So here we are. I'm over on my browser. So the first thing I can do is click on this big yellow tile that says make a drawing with one of our cool brushes. Yes, please. I'll do that. So loading up the drawing app within Express. And I want the very first brush, which is the hard round brush. And up above it, I also want the black paint. The only thing I need to change then is the size of the brush, or I'm going to be here all day. So I'm going to make that really big as it can be. And I'm just going to, here we go. I'm going to just paint and fill up my canvas with black paint. Right. Well, that was the easiest thing that I've ever done. So that was good. Back with you, Kyle.
All right, don't worry. It doesn't get hard at all. It's going to be easy all the way through. No problemo. Okay. Now, we've actually made it really simple now to browse through brushes. You can just tap on these categories here like this, and you can see all the brushes, or you can just scroll up or down and they're all there. And as you scroll, it'll just pop through these categories for you, which is really nice. So the next category I'm going to use is up in here. There's a little line dividing our basic, our multicolor, and our art supplies. So if you want to just tap on art supplies, this will then launch you into this section here where you've got all these fun brushes that you can play with. Okay. The first brush I'll use in the art supplies is this one, this diluted acrylic. Diluted acrylic. There we go. Okay, now, as before, I want to make this quite large. So I'll slide the size up to about 500 or 600, something like that. So it's going to be quite large, all right? And like I said earlier, you can just use the colors in here. And the color I want to select is directly below black. It's a dark bluish purple there, or maybe it's a little bit navy, but bordering on warmer. And I'm going to move in diagonal strokes. So just like that. Diagonal, come back the other way, diagonal. And see how they're kind of wavy a little bit? That's what I want to do. I'm just going to do a few. So maybe like 4 or 5, kind of back and forth here or there. And that's all I'm going to do, just like that. And then I'll do the same thing with this pink color. I'll just kind of pass through some of that. Maybe you don't go all the way across. Maybe here and there, you just sort of just do a little bit here and a little bit there. Just leave it like that. That's all I'm going to do. So you can see what I'm doing here, just these sort of wavy diagonal paths with a very large brush. It's about 600, the diluted acrylic brush.
All right. Okay. Here we go. So over on the left-hand side, we want the art supplies category. So let's just click on art supplies. It's going to jump down to those. I'm going to scroll down and I want this diluted acrylic. So I'm going to choose that. And yeah, we want this kind of, I don't know, it's like a royal blue, maybe.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
And then I'm going to bring the size up about 2/3 of the way, something like that. And we're going to go for diagonal, but kind of wavy diagonals. Oh, this brush is cool. Did you make this brush, Kyle?
I made them all.
He's too modest to tell us himself, but Kyle made these brushes. How cool is that?
Aww.
There we go. So I've got my blue, and now I'm just going to jump over to this pink color. Okay. And as Kyle did, I'm going to kind of try and weave between the blues. Some of them just don't go all the way. Do you know what? I think, yeah, that's fine. If you do make a mistake, remember the most important button in the whole drawing app is this one.
Yes. Thank you for pointing that out. I always forget.
Yeah, because, don't try and fix it with more paint. If you make a mistake, just click on the undo button and try again. I always, start off with the wrong size brush or the wrong color, or I always do daft things like that. So, undo is your friend. Right, there we are. I'm going to jump back to Kyle's screen. There he is. Take us away, Kyle.
So we're going to now scroll down a little ways to our friend, the watercolor fill brush right here, watercolor fill. And we'll make that quite large again, 600 pixels or somewhere in that vicinity. Okay. And now we're going to do a sort of a back and forth thing. So I'm going to start with black again. And I'm just going to selectively paint over some areas here. Now, at first, you'll see not much is happening, but if you move back over an area where you've just painted and back again, sort of back and forth, you can selectively sort of cover and mask some areas that you just painted with a really soft touch. See that? I'm just kind of going back and forth and creating more of these sort of wavy patterns. So it'll happen slowly, but you can just sort of, there you go. And see what I'm doing is just making some of these little bits sort of fade back into black. So we'll have some areas that are kind of bright, some areas that kind of poke through with brighter colors, some are darker. And hopefully that makes sense what I've just done there, where you can see me sort of just passing by, passing through, pushing some stuff back and letting some stuff kind of shine through.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. It's just giving it depth, isn't it? So right now,
Right.
right now this looks really flat. It's cool. I really like these colors, but it looks very flat. And we want to kind of, try and give the idea of, the infinite size of space, really, that some of these colors might be close and some of them might be far away. So Kyle's using the watercolor brush, which, as you can see, is kind of very kind of light and transparent and see-through. So if we use a black paint with a watercolor brush.
Watercolor fill. There are 2 watercolor brushes.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Let's go for the watercolor fill. Sorry. Yeah. Go to art supplies, watercolor fill. This one's even lighter than the watercolor brush. You've got watercolor and watercolor fill. You can see that with black paint selected, that's how light it's going to be going on. Okay. So you can kind of go nuts with it, really. And, I got massive paintbrush, and I can just, be quite heavy-handed with it. And it's going to take a lot of passes to darken those colors back. And some of them we leave untouched, and some of them we kind of go heavy over. And it's going to just give us an idea of depth. It's pushing some of those colors further away from us, deeper into space, deeper back into space. And then some of them look closer to us. I love this, Kyle. It's so much fun. So
good.
Much fun. Right. I'm going to pass back to Kyle whilst I keep messing around with that. Here we are. Kyle, we're back with you.
Okay. Now, we're going to be doing this. We're going to be repeating this process just a couple of times. And the third step in the process is I'm going to use this brush right here called Spatter. It's right above watercolor fill, right here, Spatter. And it's already set to 500 for the size. I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger, but not too much. And I'm going to use the blue, this dark blue color here. And what I'll do is I'll just go whoop, just go across here and there, add a few bits and pieces. And these are like stars that are far away. So I'm not going to go too busy with them. Sometimes you can get a little bit more dense. Leave some areas open. And that's pretty much it. And then I'll grab the pink and just do a couple of spots here and there as well. I'm really just kind of tapping and dragging just a bit. And I'll leave that for now. And then, of course, everyone's tempted to use white, but, white is, if the star is close to you, it's closer. If you use this blue that's next to the dark blue, this one right here, and make your spatter a little smaller, like about 400, you can just throw a few like that. Just here and there. Not too much. Don't go too crazy, but, just here and there. Sometimes in one little area, there'll be more, Gonna balance it out. And then that's all I'm going to do for now. And I'll let that be. And then, believe it or not, I'm going to kind of repeat this one more time before we throw in a sun and a planet. Well, you'll see what we do.
Okay. Right. Here's mine. We need to get some stars in there. So let's go for the spatter brush. There it is. And Kyle started us off with the darker blue. So let's just, there we go. I'm just putting some of these about the place. And as Kyle said, I'm not really kind of dragging here. I'm more just kind of clicking in one place and adding these patches in. And now let's go over to the pink. And let's do the same. And I think, that light blue really makes a difference, doesn't it? That final one you put in.
Yeah.
It gives the kind of idea of how cold it is in space, I think. And I like the idea of kind of bunching a few of them together and then leaving some space. There we go. Maybe a bit over here. Great. Okay. back to you, Kyle. There you go.
Alrighty, so now returning to our friend, this watercolor fill brush. Remember how we went over everything with black just to kind of soften it? Now we're actually going to do the same thing, but with these colors again. So I take this dark blue. I've got my watercolor fill brush nice and big. And watch this. I'm going to pick an area where there's already maybe a little bit of blue and some black and some pink, something like around here. And I'll just pass over it a little bit like that.
Oh, wow.
So,
Mist.
yeah, exactly. You know, when you look in space, there are sort of lost and found kind of edges with things. Do that a couple of times, maybe here a little bit, a little there, a little bit. Just kind of softens it up. And the same thing maybe with the pink in a couple of spots here and there, just a little bit here and there. Not going to go too nuts with it, but just here and there. And then once again with the black, I can pass over a few spots. And what that'll do is it'll push some of those stars more into the distance. Some will be more right in our faces and some will be further away. And now I'll pause for a minute and you'll see now what we've got. We're creating a real sort of spacescape, just using these few brushes and kind of pushing and pulling with these colors. Now, the next thing I'll do is I'll actually introduce some white, but I'll do it very selectively. So again, we have our spatter right here, and I'm going to use white, and I'll just in a couple of spots. So I'll think like maybe, you know, maybe over here, for example, just a few, and I'll kind of move through this area, tap a few times, and let that be. Then maybe over here, just a few taps like that, and then maybe over here, just a few. And those then really come forward, and so you're really getting the sense of depth, you know. Do a couple over here too. So if you want to give that a try, Meredith, what I was doing was using that watercolor fill brush with the pink and the blue, and then a little bit of black again. Yours looks great, by the way. And then a little bit of white for some stars.
Brilliant. Yeah, I love this. You know what's amazing as well is that everybody who's following along with you today, everyone's work is going to look absolutely different.
Yes, it'll all look different. Isn't that fun?
Totally different. Yeah, it's so fun. Right, so I'm going to grab that pink. My brush is as big as it gets. I'm on watercolor fill, and I'm just going to kind of bring in this kind of mistiness, and then I'll do the same with a bit of this, the darker blue, and let's go nuts. Let's get the purple in as well.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, that's actually a good call. That's a good color to use.
Let's get a bit of that in. Well, Kyle, I've already watched a tutorial on this, and you did it in that. So it's not my idea. It's yours.
Oh, I forgot that I had done that.
And then I'm going to go back to the black. And then that's what's great about this is that every time you think, oh, no, this is just way too colorful. It's just, okay, just get your watercolor fill brush and then go back to black. And then, yeah, and when we're adding that then on top of these kind of stars that we've got spattered around the place, as Kyle says, it really pushes them back. And it gives us this feeling that they are billions and billions of light years away or whatever. Cool, like this. And now I'm going to finish off with some bright patches of white stars. I'm going to go back to spatter. I'm going to choose white. And let's just bring them in.
Nice.
Just freckle them around in one or two patches. There we go. I'm done. Right, back to you, Kyle. Oops, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Oops, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Let's do it this way instead. There we go. We're back with you.
All right, the last little few bits. These are simple. Is tap on the yellow right here, the yellow color, and scroll up to the top and select the hard round brush again. Right here. So color is yellow. We go up to the top and select the hard round brush. I'm not sure of the size here. I'm thinking something like maybe 600 or 500. I have to tap and see. So I'll just come over here and around this area. Okay, I'm just going to tap. Oh, that's pretty much what I want right there. So that's going to be my sun. Now you might look at it and say, oh, that's a little bit flat. Don't worry. I'm going to then select orange here. And I'll scroll back down to my art supplies. Just tap on art supplies there. And this is really nifty. I can come to the watercolor brush, not the watercolor fill, but the watercolor brush right there. And I've made my brush a little larger than the size of the circle here. And I'm just going to tap a few times over it like that. Just tap, tap, tap. And it's going to create this cool sort of fiery.
Oh, like the flares coming off the sun.
Yeah, kind of a glow on the outside.
Yeah.
Sort of a nifty thing you can do. So I'm not going to do too much, but I'll leave it like that. I think that kind of does the trick.
That's so cool. Yeah, right.
There you go.
I tell you, Dom's missing out this afternoon.
Ah.
You're gonna learn something today. All right, I'm gonna go for the hard round brush and this lovely yellow. That's too big. Let's just bring it down a bit, and I'm gonna go bam there. There we go. It's a bit bigger than Kyle's was, but that's fine.
I like that. I think it's a better size. Yeah, that's good.
You're very kind, guy. And then I'm going to go to the orange, and still under art supplies, I'm going to scroll down, and we want this time not the watercolor fill, but the watercolor brush. Okay, now then, I reckon I'm going to need to undo here. So don't just go for it, guys, and then undo if you're not sure. So there we go. I just want this. Oh, that last one wasn't too great.
It's okay if it goes outside the borders. It looks cool.
Yeah, I don't mind that. It looks like there's some kind of big solar storm going on. So
yeah,
I'm gonna leave that like that. I think if I did any more, I would maybe mess it up. So back to you, Kyle.
Now let's use this blue color right here, this lighter blue. And once again with the hard round brush at a smaller size. So I was using about 600 before. I'll probably go to about 400, something like that. Let's just tap and see. And right about here, I'll just tap. That's a little big. I'm going to go down to 300, okay? There we go. And I'll just tap right here with the lighter blue. There we go. And this is really fun. Watch this. Just select the same color you're using, this blue. I'm not gonna change that, but I'm going to use this soft round brush here. Now you'll remember the color I was, the size I was using a moment ago was about 300. I'm going to make this larger. I'm going to make it about 400. So about 100 larger. And I'm going to aim right here for the center of the circle and just tap about 5 times. 2, 3, 4. See that?
No, it kind of gives it a glow.
Yeah, you can do it a couple more times if you want. I don't know how glowy you want your planet to be, but it just looks really neat.
Yeah, that's really cool. Right.
And if you want a bigger glow, but still the same softness, you can make your brush bigger and try the same thing. Just tap in the middle, 1, 2, 3, 4, and see how it goes.
Right. Well, you know me, Kyle. I always, I'm going to go for the biggest one possible now. So, right.
Let's see.
Hard round brush, light blue, and we don't want this to be too big, so I'm going to dump it around there. There we go. And I'm going to tap. Bam. There we go. Right. Same color brush, same color paint, sorry, but we're going to the next brush over, which is called soft round. And then let's just go nuts. Just put that all the way up to huge. And I'm going to tap once in the middle of this planet. 1. Oh!
Ooh! That's the way to do it.
Well, you can keep going. So 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's too far. 5, 6. Now we can't see it. But I can just undo, and it'll take me back to... Oh, forward then. There we go. That was my first one. That was just one click with the
pretty
brush.
Perfect. I think it's perfect.
I'm happy with that. I'm going to leave it there. Again, I'm afraid of wrecking it. So there we go. Cool. Right, back with you.
Okay, so let's jump down. We have art supplies, and right next to that we have decorative. We'll tap on decorative, and inside there you just scroll down a little ways, and you're going to find a couple of fun things. The first one we're going to use, let's see, here it is sparkler right there, sparkler.
Yeah.
It's currently set to about 500, which is probably fine. And now I'll just, with this this blue color here, I'll just tap in one place repeatedly. 1, 2, 3. See that?
Ah, cool.
And it just makes these cool kind of starry, kind of neato thingies. Now, maybe that's a bit big. You don't have to. You can just tap once if you want. I'll make it a little smaller. You can tap once. You can tap twice, right? And just do that. Maybe do it again. Make it bigger, make it smaller. Just tap anywhere you like. There's a cool one, right? But use a color because then the results you get is going to be kind of unpredictable and kind of fun.
That's
you never
cool.
know. And
we've reached the end of time, Kyle. So
there you go. There you go.
We won't go back to my screen. Is there anything else that you'd want to show? Any other brushes? Or?
I think now everybody gets the idea. You can play with these, and if you want to give something like the little up here near the top, there's a brush called Firecracker. If you want to give that a try as well, that's kind of fun. You can tap anywhere like that, like that. Try the pink. Just add little bits here and there. You know, that's fun. Yeah. And you could draw a little alien. You could draw a spaceship, draw a satellite. Look at the picture that's included over here. And you'll see that, for example, just using simple shapes, we made a little satellite and then a little dotted line to show how it's going through space. You'll find that brush in the basics, the little dotted lines. It's all there.
Yeah, actually, Kyle's got this this exact thing as a ready-made tutorial video on Dom's YouTube channel. So the YouTube channel you're watching this on right now, if you want to have another go at this, and if you want to add in the spaceship, then it's actually on this channel. So you can just go to videos, and then Kyle's got a whole series of drawing videos up there, and one of them is this exact activity. So if you want to kind of finish it off, or if you want to do it again with another class or whatever, it's there ready to go on the same YouTube channel. Right, Kyle, this has been maybe the most fun I've had in Express for a good few months. I really, really had fun doing that.
Oh, what about our Welsh dragon that we did? That was fun.
I can't say that this is more fun than the Welsh dragon. I can't say that because that would be sacrilegious. But
you'd have to leave the country.
But maybe it's true. Maybe this was more fun. I loved those brushes. And I loved using the black paint then with those brushes to go back over and kind of tame down the crazy colors that we've got going on. I think that is genius. So
great.
Thank you very much. Teachers, if any of you are posting anything up on social media, we would love it if you tagged us because I would be so chuffed to see this as a parent. These kind of activities, they look like so much fun. Kids, I hope you've had fun, and hassle your teachers to fill up the swag form so that we get the free swag over to your school. Teachers, you need to make sure that you know what's coming up next. So get on the registration form, bit.ly/Adobe Leaders, so that you can see what's coming up for the rest of this half term. We did it on Monday. We've planned out what's happening for the next half term. So those activities and themes will go up on that form in the next week or two, so that you can see what's coming up next. We also, just in case you don't know, teachers, we run ACE Level 1 and Level 2 training, which is all totally free for teachers. So you can get a professional development badge and certificate to get you accredited as an Adobe Express user. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, then get in touch or follow the links that we pop up on the screen. Right, Kyle, we are 3 minutes over. I think they'll forgive us. Thanks very much. I've had a blast, and I'll see you soon. Any final thoughts, Kyle?
Oh boy, if the weather is that bad, I'm sorry. I was going to say get outside and get some fresh air, but just bring an umbrella, I guess.
Yeah, and a snorkel. Yeah, it is bad. Right. Have a great weekend, Kyle.